Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are and what's going on. Hope you're all doing well on this beautiful Wednesday morning or afternoon. Yes, we return once again to the wonderful world of bridge, although taking a more targeted look today at an element of the entire process that I can't say I was familiar with before looking into the organization, and that is the Inclusion Maturity Index. Now, it is possible that in some previous panel discussion or corporate video I've looked at, the concept has been mentioned, but so far as my memory tells me, I've never had it promoted before the Bridge organization, and how I took a look at that about 3 episodes back now. And so I was like, what is the Inclusion Maturity Index? Is this a new idea? Did this just come out of nowhere? No, it's been around a while, at least 5 years. And so what I've decided to do is we're going to take a look at a small selection of videos in chronological order of publication, going back to 5 years, then about a year ago, and then within just a few months of each other, supposedly describing to us what is the Inclusion Maturity Index, how does it work, and so on. And then, after we've watched these educational videos, I am going to take, insofar as it's kind of like a test or a measurement, I'm going to take the Inclusion Maturity Index on the basis of my channel being a business and you, the audience, being my workforce. And we'll go through the Inclusion Maturity Index together. We'll answer its questions or rate ourselves or whatever, and then we'll see what kind of result the Scribe Light channel comes up with for being inclusionally mature, whatever that means. But before we get to all that, who's joining me on this beautiful Wednesday morning / afternoon? Noah Sencio, good morning. Kiever Dam, good morning. And thank you, Kiever Dam, for providing, as always, the links to the GoFundMes for our friends Moonshock, Natalie, Angela Ariaga, James Colley, and Rhonda. Please take a look at those and donate if you are able. If you're not able to, that's fine. Please do please do consider sharing those out on social media. Every little bit helps. So thank you, Kiever Dam, and thank anybody who donates ahead of time. Kiro Soldier, good morning. Rib Rascal, good morning. Advocatus Diaboli, afternoon. Mike Savage, blarg. Matthew James, good morning to you. Who else is here? Anybody else? Miranda Stone, Queen of the Discord. That's your official title now. Just Queen of the Discord. Yeah. Good morning, or afternoon, pardon me. John Trioxlin, good morning to you. And I think that's everybody that I see. I'll get to other hellos as people come in. But yeah, so this is going to be educational for me. It's going to be educational for you. What is the Inclusion Maturity Index? Now, surprisingly, at least at the time that I put this all together, there were only about 4 videos on YouTube even mentioning exclusively the Inclusion Maturity Index. Again, like I say, one from about 5 years ago, and then several within the last year or a couple of months. 2 of those videos were exactly the same video, just branded separately with same but different looking animations from the same organization. It's kind of complicated, but we'll get to one of those in this. All right, so that's the plan. 10 minutes worth of educational videos, and then we will take the test and find out how mature the Scribe Light channel is and its audience inclusionally. So we'll start off with a few seconds for a sound test. You guys tell me if you can hear it, and then we will proceed.
When it comes to diversity and inclusion.
When it comes to diversity and inclusion, everybody hear that okay? Let me know. Also, good morning, Vader35. Let's see. Everybody hear that? Uh-oh. Miranda Stone has used it. Uh-oh. Now my phone's ringing in the other room. Uh-oh. Hold on a sec. Hello, you're live on the air. Well, hold on. Now you are. Hello. Everyone, Sister Scribe is here. She didn't know I was streaming, but now she does.
I lost you.
So, how are you? Hello?
I can't hear anything. I'm hanging up now.
Okay, apparently my sister couldn't hear me. So, that was my bad. Maybe I muted her or something. Anyway, I will call her back. My bad. I was trying to make a joke out of it. Anyway, Sister Scribe was here for about 3 seconds. Hold on. Let me just clarify. Apologies, this was not part of the scheduling program. Hold on. Hello.
Now I know I'm on the air because I just got on YouTube.
Yes, you are on the air. Sorry about that. I accidentally muted you on my phone, which was not intentional.
Rude.
I know. So how are you?
I'm good.
That's good.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Just working and calling to tell you about my hot air balloon ride.
That's right. You had a hot air balloon ride in an undisclosed location previously.
Yes. It was very fun.
Yeah,
it wasn't scary. It was very gradual, and then when we landed, we tilted over. But
yes,
he told us that was going to happen. So
yeah, you already told me the story.
Okay. Well, you know what?
Well, what do you want me to say? Okay.
I can't give new information over the air because I have not,
Well, now the people know.
Well, the people do know.
Yeah, the people do know. But I was going to call you actually.
Just living life. Just wanted to call and say hi.
Okay. Well, I was actually going to call you and ask if you were free to do the loop this weekend.
Oh, well, see, I was calling you to see if you were free to do the loop maybe this evening.
Oh, this evening? Oh, yes, I am.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Well, I will call you back after the show and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you go. Sister Scribe, unplanned appearance. Apologies for the interruption, but what are you going to do about your younger siblings? I tell you. Let's see. All right. Well, anyway, back to the show. If anybody complains about that, I can cut it out later. But let's get back to the video. I'll start off from the beginning so we get the full, experience.
When it comes to diversity and inclusion, is everyone in your organization present and accounted for?
I don't know. How do I present an account for my organization? And Hammer in the chat asks, what's the loop? The loop is just our regular sort of get-together shopping routine. We make a loop to some regular places for groceries and things, and we just call it the loop. That's what it is.
The first step is assessing where you are in your efforts. The AICPA's Accounting Inclusion Maturity Model can help.
Okay. So we have a Inclusion Maturity Index, or in this case, Inclusion Maturity Model. And how does that work?
This powerful benchmarking tool helps you determine how far you've come and where you want to go on your diversity and inclusion journey.
Oh, okay. So what are we measuring exactly?
It evaluates your progress in 4 key areas: workforce, workplace, marketplace, and community and supplier relations.
Oh, so the kinds of people under my employ, not quite sure what the workplace is. I'm assuming like maybe spatial justice or something. The marketplace, like am I marketing to the correct demographics, which can actually be a legitimate element of marketing. And lastly, community and supplier relations. Oh, supplier relations. Am I doing business with businesses run by the right kinds of people?
You'll receive your maturity model score.
Ooh.
A peer-to-peer comparison.
Ooh.
A personalized summary and comprehensive reports.
Oh, so you're going to tell me I have a problem I need to fix, and then you're going to offer a measuring tool by which I can fix it. For a, reasonable fee, I'm sure.
Including details and tools for improving your performance in...
Whoa. You're flipping through those awfully quick. Let's back up a little bit. Let's see. Workforce. Let's make sure we don't miss one of these. No, that's a chart. Okay, what does this one say? Workforce, score interpretation, foundational, 1 to 1.99. Your organization has no formalized recruitment strategy / plan in this foundational stage. Your organization recognizes no best practices approaches to recruiting diverse talent, such as internships, involvement with universities / graduate schools, search firms, diversity-focused job fairs, employee referrals, utilizing diversity-focused employment portals, word of mouth, and diversity or special interest focused jobs websites. Your organization has no formal or informal internship program. There is no formal expectation that hiring managers present a diverse slate of candidates or that they do not recruit or interview until they have been educated in understanding cultural differences, biases, and the impact of these on the hiring process. Also, your organization, and it cuts off. Okay, and what was the next little piece of text they threw at us? Hold on. Was that it?
Improving your performance.
There it is. Marketplace marketing. Your organization does not have good understanding of your customer base, the cultures of your customers, your markets, and your competition, and that clients of your organization are representative of many different cultures of which market research efforts within your organization use to anticipate and respond to changes in demographics, values, and lifestyles in order to better serve your clients. Also, it is not an expectation or a practice in your organization to have multicultural marketing strategy that uses an approach to appeal to specific demographic groups and ensure that the strategy does not perpetuate negative stereotypes or contain other information that might be offensive towards individual and group diversity. Also, it is not a part of your organization's practices for a diversity and inclusion focus with regards to your marketing and advertising. There is not an expectation for leaders to track the success of efforts or to support diversity advertising and marketing through the budget process. Marketing and advertising, especially with a diversity and inclusion emphasis, is not a well-established practice within your organization. You know, it seems like this is the correct way that businesses should run. I mean, a low score on the inclusion index might be a good thing. All right.
In each core area.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Next one, community supplier involvement. At this foundational stage, your organization has no formal expectation to provide financial resources, long-range planning, or provide employee time and labor in a variety of community projects that impact underserved populations that are representative of your community's diversity. Your organization has no expectation as part of your overall strategy to expect that members to voice. What? Okay, your overall strategy to expect that members to voice diversity-related interests, nor does your organization have an expectation to provide financial support, sponsorship for external scholarships, and or internship programs that positively impact diverse, underserved communities. Okay, so my company does not evaluate people on the basis of their race. Oh, no.
Create your profile and begin the assessment today at aicpa.org/accounted for.
No, we will be, but we'll be using a different index shortly.
And let's make sure everyone is present and accounted for.
That fits within the demographic ideation, or the idealized demographic split. My words do not accord with my brain sometimes. Okay, that was video number 1. I think I've only got like 4 of them.
Hi there, Dr. Lepora here, and
Hi.
I'm so excited to be bringing you this 4-part series on diversity and equity and inclusion. It's
a 4-part series? I think we only got 1 part, but either way.
A very important element that is on people's minds, on their hearts. And so today we're specifically looking at a diversity, equity, and inclusion maturity model that I developed.
Oh, you developed. Okay, so this is another one. So we had the one from the AIPCA or whatever it was, and now we have one from Next Gen People. All right, we have, for those of you listening at home, it consists of 5 levels: basic, awareness, appreciate, integrate, and sustain, or BAAIS. Bayes. Okay. Well, let's keep going.
Inclusion maturity model that I developed. And the reason why I thought this was so important is because a lot of organizations, a lot of top powerful leaders are really confused regarding how to approach diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Well, it's very simple. Just value people on the basis of their skin color and or their gender. I mean, primarily. Sometimes it's orientation as well, but finding out that bit of information and trivia about your workforce can become a little sketchy legally and socially. But yeah, no, the visible differences are the ones you're putting the most weight onto.
And they're a bit overwhelmed by the ocean. And even though individuals are powerful, are skilled, are smart, it does not mean that they know everything. And so specifically diversity, equity, and inclusion, many of us are still learning in the industry. And so it's important for people to not be ashamed.
Okay, I think, and I could be corrected. I think this video is approximately a year old, at least when it was posted to YouTube, if I'm remembering my chronology here. I've been doing my channel now for over 7 years. I have been looking at diversity, equity, and inclusion promotional videos, programs, discussions, at least as long as my channel has been around. So the idea that DEI or the foundational elements thereof are unfamiliar to businesses seems bizarre to me to say at this point in time. Within the last 2 years at least, to say, oh, it's nobody really knows how it works. Well, that might be so, but to say that people are unfamiliar with it seems strange. Thank you, Miranda Stone, Queen of the Discords. I should have like a stinger for Miranda Stone, like I should get like a picture of Queen Elizabeth and then like put Miranda Stone's face on it and like have some royal music playing whenever she's around. She really does deserve that kind of pomp and circumstance. But thank you, Miranda. That's very generous of you for maturity. Well, I mean, if I take your donation and I spend it on candy with my sister tonight during the loop, does it qualify? Thank you, Miranda, very much. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day and hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Okay, so yes, anyway, DEI, most people don't understand what it is.
But to be open to learning how to leverage DEI to better their organizations, to better their business, to better their teams and their people. How?
How does it better their business, their teams, their people, etc.? How does it affect the bottom line? Miranda Stone says, that will embarrass me. Well, I mean, if it would like embarrass you to the point of like psychological trauma, then I won't do it. If it'll just embarrass you in a sort of friendly, cute way, then I'm getting ready to get my Photoshop.
So we're going to dive into this model so that you can see
a
real evolution of how your organization can grow.
Excellent.
Take that journey in maturing through DEI.
All right. So I got to pause here because YouTube, but all right. I can't wait. I hope we get a nice in-depth thing, unless that's going to be presented in the future portions of the series, which I don't have. Yeah, that would be awkward.
So first and foremost, I want to talk about these 5 levels that you see.
Yes.
Basic, awareness, appreciate, integrate, and sustain.
Base.
This is very important because what it suggests, what it implies, and what it directly says is that you have to make an evolution journey in order to optimally manifest DEI in an optimal way within your organization.
I have to manifest DEI in an optimal way in my organization. Okay, so you're going to tell me what the goal is, right? Effectively, you're going to say your company, your organization has a problem, and I have the method by which to become better and not have the problem so much anymore. Okay, so what is the goal and or what is the method to get to it?
I'm not going to read everything, but I do expect you to read all of this.
Oh, you're not going to read everything, but you expect me to? Oh, okay, well, I'll do all of the mental labor.
To absorb it all. But the essence that differentiates these levels is going from an organization that is more reactive, more based upon what they have to do, to actually being DEI.
Going from more reactive to being DEI. What? So
it's from an organization that is reactive to passive to active to proactive and then to sustaining. And
so instead of being just occasionally racist, I'm systematically racist.
These all look very different. And so that intention of your organization, of the efforts, of the investments by your leaders, by the body is what gets you migrating, what gets you evolving and upgrading through that journey.
Upgrading. Okay.
So what is important to understand is that basic level is one of compliance.
Basic level is one of compliance. Okay.
It's that organization, and we all know that organization is the traditional 80s organization that does what it has to do in order to not get sued, quite frankly.
So on the basic level of your journey here, I'm doing just the minimum I can to not get sued. Whereas once I reach the graduate level of your process, I'm indemnified from litigation. What?
In order to increase liabilities. And so they're going to dot their I's regarding what those government regulations are, but that's where the buck stops.
Yeah, those government regulations like, I don't know, Title VII and Title VI, but tell us again, what are we measuring in your process for success?
Because that is all they're interested in, and that's what they see the requirement as being.
Yeah, avoiding violating the law is kind of a basic requirement in a civilized society, for the most part, and businesses that want to be legitimate. And
then that next phase is, awareness.
Okay, hold on. I got to read this stuff. If she's not going to read it to us. Now, apologies for those of you listening and not seeing this. The chart is decidedly small on the screen, and the text is relatively small as well. So I'm going to do my best. I might need to squint. Okay, level 1, basic, reactive. Okay, members are compliant. Compliant to what? DEI is tolerated. Diversity is recognized as the right thing. Legal has responsibility. And I'm reading it verbatim as much as I can interpret it, guys. And then we get into some very bad choices in text color. Resources are limited to maintain legal compliance, I think it says. Then measurement to ensure legal compliance and minimize financial liability, I think it says. And then lastly, compliant training might be provided. Compliant training. So just following the law. Is that what compliance is? Members are compliant to the law. All right, so do we become less compliant as we move up? Let's see. Awareness, level 2. Instead of being reactive, we're now passive. Members are aware rather than compliant, whatever that means. DEI is admired rather than tolerated. Diversity and inclusion are recognized as the right thing. Before it was just diversity, but now diversity and inclusion. I assume equity is going to be the next one. Legal, HR, and external resources have responsibility. Don't know what that means. External resources are used to provide one-off efforts. Okay, and then D&I training may be provided, but isn't required. All right, level 3, appreciate. Okay, we are now active, not reactive or passive. We're now active. Members appreciate rather than just being aware. DEI is desired rather than admired or tolerated. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are recognized as the right thing. Legal, HR, and some leaders have responsibility. Okay, have responsibility over DEI goals, I'm assuming. External resources are used to make systemic efforts. DE&I vision and strategy, whatever that means. DE&I is an integral part of policies. And lastly, D&I training and other engagement is required by everyone. Boy, it's getting more totalitarian as we move up the chain here. Okay, level 4, integrate. We are now proactive instead of just active, passive, or reactive. Members do. Members do, instead of appreciate, aware, or compliance. DEI is a tool rather than being desired, admired, or tolerated. Legal, HR, and all leaders have responsibility and accountability. Integrated into the organization's culture and values. Internal resources are used to make systemic DE&I efforts. DE&I is an integral part of business strategy, policies, and practices. Apologies, the text is small and the colors are bleeding letter to letter. And lastly, DEI is an enterprise-wide transformation. Oh boy. All right. And the last level, sustain. Next practices, whatever that means, members are ... It's a mystery. DEI is an organization asset. Then everyone has responsibility and accountability. DEI is an institutionalized part of all internal and external organization components, relationships, policies, and practices. Measurement to reward and hold accountability, positive DEI behavior by leaders and employees. DEI has its own institutionalized resources, and then DEI organization, it gets cut off by a graphic. Okay.
Well, okay, we see this diversity, this equity and inclusion, we understand it, and we know what it may be, and it may be a positive thing.
It may be a positive thing?
You know, and that awareness goes more into a phase of now we appreciate it. We appreciate what diversity, equity, and inclusion is.
This sounds like the progressive steps in Stockholm Syndrome. I mean, it's like I start off like, okay, I'm just going to do what I'm told. And then like, okay, I now understand more of what my captors have to say. And like, oh, yes, I actually am starting to agree with what they have to say. Oh, yes, now I'm on board and I want to fight for the same cause. Viva la revolution or whatever. Like, I don't know. This really does sound like cult progression, doesn't it?
And not only do we appreciate it, but then that goes into we want to be engaged, we want to be active, we want to do something, you know, to basically manifest this great thing that is good for our bottom line, good for our business.
So you say, although I've yet to see any proof of that.
Good for our people. And then ultimately that inspiring level is sustaining. And that is when your organization culture represents D&I. It's going from an external focus, again, one that's reactive, that is about compliance, to one that is more increasingly internal, to one about sustaining.
Yeah, it's about eliminating doubt. We're going to progressively eliminate doubt in the necessity of this thing. Despite evidence to the contrary, no, it really is a good thing, everybody.
Another way to look at it, or another component of that maturity, is about investment.
Right.
How much of investment of energy, of intention, and resources,
money,
is toward an organization being diversified.
Right. And how much of that resources is going to the consultancy organization that is introducing this problem that only they can help to solve?
Equitable and inclusive.
Right.
As that intention grows, as those investments grows, as those resources grow, then that maturity should grow along with it.
Yeah, you see, everybody, the more money you dump into this, the more mature you're going to become. It's kind of like Scientology.
Assuming that it's the right, obviously, methodology and the right transformational efforts that are made. But at the end of the day, it is an approach that is, from an external perspective, reactive, to one that may include bringing in external professionals and consultants.
Oh, it may involve that. Yeah. Would you be one of those professional consultants?
Then to one graduating to internal resources.
Oh, yeah.
And then ultimately one that is diverse, one that is equitable, one that is inclusive. And that if you were to change that, you would change the organizational culture itself.
Yeah, and that is the ultimate goal, right? Everybody's compliant, except that that's the first level. Everybody's got to be compliant. I mean, compliant with the law, and then that becomes less of a consideration the higher up the chain you go. Okay, and where's the business in this? I mean, draw the line for me. And I know I'm asking rhetorically, and I've asked this any countless number of times before. Draw the line for me between how this equates to more profits. How does this increase shareholder value? I mean, you have to be able to draw a direct line. If I do these steps, this will affect my bottom line in this positive way. I'm asking a lot. I know, but you keep telling us it's better for our business, better for our people, better for our profits. And you know what? From here on out, at least for this episode, I'm going to take the position that I am the CEO of Scribelite, the channel, because I am. And my audience, all of you listening right now, you are my employees. We'll proceed for the rest of this stream as though we are all together in being presented with a DEI opportunity. All right? So I need to know from our speaker, how is this process? How is my going through my audience and picking out who should stay, who should go, what kind of audience members I should try to recruit into my audience? Sorry, my workforce. How is that going to increase my bottom line through this process?
Now, I will say most organizations are not at the sustain level.
Oh, of course they're not at the sustain level. If they were at the sustain level, then you wouldn't have any clients. So everybody's got to be, and especially since on the sustain level, you have members are ... which means there's no definition there, which means there's no specific goal, which means sustain is always probably going to be about 3 or more or 5 more consultancy paychecks away from being given your gift certificate or whatever, right?
Not even 3% within our country, at least, are at that sustain level.
Wow, not even 3%. That means that like 97+% of the companies in this country are potential clients. That's amazing. Okay. Wow. None of them meet your standards, huh?
But you absolutely should aspire to that, because that's how you get there. Just like any other business goal that we have to aspire to it. We have to develop the plan. And
how is DEI a business goal? I'm asking the same question I did before. How is DEI a business goal? How does that improve my business specifically?
And then we have to apply our plan, our resources in order to get there.
Get where?
So I hope that helps.
No.
I hope that gives more information.
No.
If you find that it may be beneficial to anyone else, please share, and don't hesitate to reach out with any questions that you may have.
Well, I don't know that I'll reach out directly, but I have plenty of questions. But then there are some other videos we're going to be looking at, and we're going to take the actual inclusion maturity index test shortly. So maybe that'll answer my questions.
Love discussing this. Love helping organizations to do their best in the D&I space. And I wish you all the best on your diversity, equity, and inclusion journey.
Well, thank you, because the journey continues right after this. I cut it off.
Let's talk about your organization maturity for diversity and inclusion implementation.
Oh boy, well that's what we're here to do. All right, so we've had 2 bites at the apple so far. The first presentation didn't really tell us much, except that we have to really focus on the skin color and or ethnicity of the people that we're hiring. The second presentation didn't really tell us much other than here's the steps by which you can join a suspect religious organization. All right, so maybe third time's the charm. I guess we'll find out. Before then, thank you, Matthew James. As employee and customer, I give you an A+. Oh, well, golly, I haven't gotten an A+ in. I honestly think my last A+ was 12th grade in algebra, but I had a really, really good teacher. And I am not a math guy. As you all know, I'm an English major, not a math major. But man, my teacher in high school, my last year of high school, I took algebra. And boy, oh boy, that guy knocked it out of the park. He got me interested. He got me to want to achieve and succeed. And I legitimately, it wasn't like it was an easy class and not like he just like handed it off. He was a strict guy. I got an A+, and I was really proud of that. I really felt like I'd accomplished something. So Matthew James, thank you so much. And also it says, let's celebrate their 5th super on live stream. Well, yay! And appreciate the sparkly balloon. I haven't seen that one before. Sparkly balloon. Thank you, Matthew James. All right. Anyway, so this is our 3rd bite at the apple.
You know, when I talk with business owners about their employee, their staff, and they say to me, we are already diversified.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll say that as far as my staff is concerned, i.e. my audience, we are already diversified. I have people from all across the world, various states, countries, and otherwise, various ethnicities. I mean, some are flags like Mike Savage. Some are dogs like Matthew James. Some are, characters from 80s comedy movies like Rib Rascal. I mean, I have a very, very diverse workforce. I mean, I don't know if you can get much more diverse than that, but okay. Yeah. I mean, I would be one of those companies that says that.
I ask myself, of course you are diversified but do you know how to manage that?
Do I know how to manage that? What do you mean? What do you mean by managing diversity?
Do you know how to make that something that works for your business instead of against?
Make it work for my business rather than against. Okay, I don't know how could I make it work for my business, my audience, and their various individual elements and attributes and perspectives and everything. I don't know how can I do that.
And that question is very important because we are diversified as people. Each and every one of us is a bit different from the other.
Exactly. Yeah, that is the definition of diversity, at least as I approach it. So how am I wrong thinking?
But what we do when we encounter, for example, with different opinions?
I don't know. You already said everybody's different. Are opinions not part of that diversity of individuals to begin with? Or maybe I'm missing something. And for those of you listening at home, in bringing up opinions, he's brought up a picture of the witches from Hocus Pocus. Okay.
Most of us don't have the tools to deal with that.
Most of us don't have the tools to deal with differing opinions. Well, okay. Being fair for a moment, in this day and age, social media and otherwise, yes, people's egos are and have been made into decidedly thin structures over the last 10, 20 years or so. So if he's talking about millennials and Gen Z, he's probably correct.
And what happens then is that we sometimes fight, sometimes we don't, each one goes to their corners. Mm-hmm. But the issue is that this does not help your business.
Sure. Although admittedly, if I'm having a business discussion, presumably we're discussing a business topic, and ultimately, whatever the opinions are, there's going to be a final say by me, the CEO. But yes, having productive discussions, debates, or disagreements is more desirable in a business setting. Sure.
So the art of creating a more inclusive business is what makes everything stick together.
Whoa. How does the art of inclusivity solve a difference of opinion? And a difference of opinion is not a bad thing in and of itself. I mean, having debate, discussion, one person has one way to come at something and somebody has another, that's not inherently a bad thing. And it doesn't inherently lead to destructive conflict. It could lead to hurt feelings if somebody can't grow up, but maybe that's the whole maturity part of the inclusion index.
Yes, we are diversified. We still need to be more diversified because sometimes we might, recruit people that are not, that are the same of us because this is like our instincts.
What? Oh, okay. So we are diverse as individuals, but we might recruit people who are like us. What do you mean like us? I mean, if I have a business that creates light bulbs, and I don't have a business that creates light bulbs, let's say I did. I'd want to recruit people that have a passion for light bulbs. Should I not recruit people who have a passion for light bulbs? Or is there something else you're talking about as far as like?
But in order, after we are diversified, we need to be mature enough to create the inclusiveness.
You really have no idea what you're talking about, do you?
And it takes time. It takes time to educate your employees how to do that, to give them the correct tools and skills to do it.
Do what? Do what?
But this is possible, and more, even more, this is significant and important for your business.
Why? Okay, well, what? What? Adding color to your workplace. Boy, oh boy. I didn't know if it would get that blatant, but holy cats. All right. Perry, adding color to your workplace. Man, holy cats. Speaking of adding to my workplace, thank you, Derek LaRue, so much, as usual, for your generosity and support. Thank you so much. It's very generous of you. Hope you're having a good day, a good Wednesday. Hope you're enjoying the show. Yeah, speaking of differing opinions and things, the TEDx that I'm looking at for tomorrow is actually a 3-person discussion about differing opinions and coming to some kind of accord or something. After last week's TEDx, where we had the former CEO of Wikipedia, now the CEO of NPR, telling us about the lowest common denominator of truth in order to create a sort of mainline agreement on things, it got me thinking about differing opinions and people having to debate and having productive discussions and things. And then all of a sudden, within the last, I forget when it was posted. I think it was posted within the last week or so. There's a TED or a TEDx on that very subject. And I thought, oh, well, that's convenient. So that might be tomorrow's subject, unless something else comes up. I also have the music of plants. I wasn't sure to go for whether to go for the music of plants or something more productive, like coming together on differing opinions. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think hooking wires up to plants in order to make sounds is more interesting for a TED Excellence than discussing differences? I mean, it is far afield from plants having their own bank accounts, which we've done before. But anyway. All right. So Perry is adding color to my workplace. Is this the end of this one? I think it is. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. And I think we have one more.
Is your organization looking for guidance on its diversity, equity, and inclusion journey?
Well, it just so happens that I am. I'm looking for more guidance on this. My workforce, my audience, I mean, I think they're pretty diverse as it is, and so that seems like a benefit. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not using their diversity as well as I could for my business advantage. So, what do you have to say?
With the Clear Company's Inclusion Maturity Index, you can gain quick, valuable insights into areas of best practice and areas that need improvement.
Oh, good. What are the areas of most concern?
This evidence-based diagnostic toolkit is designed to gather robust diversity and inclusion monitoring data.
Based on anything in particular about my workforce?
Providing a snapshot of how inclusive your organization is across different employee demographics.
Oh, employee demographics. Like what kind of demographics might those be?
Our comprehensive approach ensures that the thoughts and lived experiences of every single employee are considered.
The thoughts and lived experiences of every single employee. So is part of this package Cerebro by any chance?
Allowing them to feel heard.
Oh.
And begin to engage with the conversation.
Oh, all right. Because prior to this, they were not heard and were unable to engage in the conversation? Is there not more than one?
Anonymous, confidential, and independent.
Oh.
Our diagnostic toolkit increases disclosure and engagement rates when compared to other data collection types.
Oh, so it gets people to be more honest about themselves. Oh, okay, all right.
As employees can feel uncomfortable disclosing personal information.
Oh, like who they prefer to sleep with, as though that has anything to do with the workplace, unless you're that kind of person, I guess.
When data collections are conducted internally.
Right.
Our questions are scientifically designed to extract the right information.
It sounds like I'm strapping somebody to a chair and getting out the rubber hoses. Our questions are scientifically designed to extract the right information. We have ways of making you talk.
collecting data from all areas of the company, across different teams, geographies, and demographic groups.
Demographic groups? I think you're mixing your words there.
The findings can be used to inform your diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy, from your immediate needs to short-term goals or a long-term strategy.
Well, that's good to know. And again, having to pause for YouTube's sake.
The results will also define the most appropriate solutions to help you to achieve change.
Now solutions is what I want to hear about. I want to hear about what are the solutions to my problem. My problem of my workforce that is so diverse, but not diverse enough or not being leveraged correctly in their diversity for the benefit of the business. Also, I got to say, I am just bopping along to this music. Aren't you?
With these insights, you can prioritize the next steps and use the diagnostic annually to see how your organization's DEI has improved.
Oh, okay. So once a year, you guys get a paycheck from me for using your measurement thing, because I'm sure you have improvements and changes to your measurement tool as time goes on that I'll have to, compensate you for.
Contact us today to see how we can support your diversity, equity, and inclusion journey.
Oh, okay. The Clear Company. The Clear Company had 2 videos on YouTube branded differently. And the animations were exactly the same, except the characters were different. Like at the beginning of this one, there was a guy in a wheelchair and a lady with a burqa on. And in the other one, it was a differently looking person in the wheelchair and a different person standing. It was bizarre. But anyway, so that's our sort of video cornucopia to inform us, or not, as the case may be, as to what the Inclusion Maturity Index actually is. I still don't know what it is. But in order to fix that, we're going to actually take the quiz, as it were. All right, so you guys ready for this? Y'all ready for this? But we're not going to be using the overlay here because I want everybody to see the whole shebang. So here we go. This is the DEI Maturity Index 2022. It's a little bit out of date, but I'm sure it's fine. The something HR Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Maturity Index, 2022 revision. What is a maturity index? A maturity index is used to measure a complex idea like diversity, equity, and inclusion, because that's really complex, and break it down into measures of smaller underlying factors. Scores indicate how close to or far away you are from the ideals or goals on a factor, and lower scores can help you focus your efforts on areas that will result in the most positive change. A maturity index can be repeated to track progress over time. Maturity index helps you to assess DEI efforts at the institutional level, italicized, the degree to which institutions value and incorporate DEI line, and DEI is now an important part of risk management. To be successful, institutions must be proactive rather than reactive. Where have we heard that before? In taking steps to ensure they are, 1, diverse, representing individuals who vary in terms of race, nationality, ethnic origin, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, age, physical and mental ability, religious preference, veteran status, genetics. Oh, am I roboting? Uh-oh. Am I still roboting? Tell me, oh, tell me true. Can you understand what I'm saying? Uh-oh. I will pause a moment until I am told I can be heard clearly. I'm still broadcasting, aren't I? Hopefully. Let me know in the chat. Okay, well, I don't see anything about my internet failing, so all right, we'll start over a little bit. All right, what are we measuring? Diverse, representing individuals who vary in terms of race, nationality, ethnic origin, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, age, physical and mental ability, religious preference, veteran status, genetics. Genetics, everyone, and citizenship. Well, if I'm hiring non-citizens, anyway, equitable in hiring, compensating, promoting, and providing services and opportunities for and otherwise treating similarly situated people represented in the various categories above. Yeah, tell me about genetics again. What? Inclusive, providing a sustained, welcoming, and protected environment for all people, regardless of their representation in protected classes. Okay, this goes on for quite a bit, but so now here's the deal. As far as I know, we're going to take this little test. We're going to measure, again, imagining the Scribe Light channel as a business and my audience, all of you as my employees, just for the sake of this exercise. We're going to take this test and measure ourselves. Now, for all I know, at some point it's going to ask me for some contact information or something, or maybe at the end it'll say you have to put your credit card in. If that happens, well, we're all done with. If it's anything that I have to put in that would be of a contact nature just to get the results, I might do that off screen just to get those, but we'll see. So let's move on. Here we go. Factor 1, scope of DEI efforts, 7 questions. Is information about the value of DEI to the educational mission communicated to all employees and stakeholders? Okay, so how much information do I provide my employees about the educational mission of DEI? Well, given that I've been doing videos on this for 7 years, and I'm educating myself and conceivably my audience over time, let's see. I think I'm in the higher caliber here. What's the number one thing? The institution regularly communicates the value of DEI to its educational mission, yes, and stakeholders regularly engage in discussions of the value and best practices of DEI as a matter of course. I would say yes. I mean, between everything that I'm putting out there from, career professionals and the conversations taking place in the chat, in the comments, on the Discord server, and on Twitter, I think we rarely discuss these things and the value of it. So I'm going to rate us number at the top. Yeah. How central is DEI to your institution's formal mission and strategic priorities? Oh, okay. Well, that's different now. My formal mission. Well, I not really. I mean, DEI in and of itself isn't part of my mission. My mission is to encourage critical thinking and to listen to what people who comport themselves to be experts or leaders or whatever are saying in order to apply your own critical thinking skills and really try to figure out what's being said versus what's not being said and so on. So let's see. DEI is not mentioned in our mission statement or strategic priorities. That's true. I don't have DEI mentioned on anything advertising my channel, and my channel is not exclusively a DEI channel. So no, I don't think so. What do you guys think? I'm going to ask my workforce. What do you guys think? How do I rate? Is DEI central to my formal mission and strategic priorities? Where do you think I rest on that? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6 options, 1 through 6. Where do you think? From 1 being the lowest to 6 being the highest. Put in the chat where you think I should rate myself. I'm guessing a 1 because I don't think it is a part. But let me know. Let's see. What do we have? Let's see. Advocatus says, well, seeing as how you show so much of it somewhere in the middle. Okay. Rib says, DEI is brain sand. I can agree with that. Matthew says, Scribe, I'm a veteran, so a point for you. Okay. Well, that helps my diversity score. Now tell me about your genetics. Being a dog, what is your breed? Simon says, I'll go with a 1. I'm kind of inclined to go with a 1 as well. I think I rate fairly low on DEI being part of my mission statement. All right. Well, if anybody else has an argument otherwise, I'll come back to it, but I'm going to say 1 on that one. Okay. Question number 3. How does your institution incorporate inclusive language into its policies and procedures? Inclusive language. I mean, I try to be welcoming to everybody that comes in. I do my best to, as I am able, pronounce names or handles as correctly as I am able to. I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean by inclusive language. I think I'm pretty inclusive in the language that I use with my audience. I think I'm very welcoming. I won't say that I'm perfect. So let's see. Policies and procedures use inclusive language throughout, informed by scholarship. Well, I have an English degree, and best practices. No plan to regularly revise the language is in place. I think that probably works. Okay, I'll give myself a 5 on the 6 scale. Number 4, how do the top leaders of your institution demonstrate the importance of DEI as a senior leadership trait? The top leaders of my institution, well, I guess that would be all the mods, of which there are several in here. So how do you guys demonstrate the importance of DEI as a senior leadership trait? I mean, let's see, diversity. I mean, you effectively are extensions of my power, but I don't think that you do. I don't think that you assess people coming in on the basis of what they look like. It's more their character and their personal merits. So I don't think DEI is important to my leaders. Which of the following best describes your institution's success in fostering a campus-wide culture of DEI? That would be a 1. DEI efforts are not a big part of the campus culture. If this is what we are, we're a campus now. Number 6, how is your institution's progress on DEI priorities and outcomes coordinated/communicated with key officers and units across campus? Well, I mean, my DEI priorities are not, I don't have a DEI priority, but of course I deprioritize DEI on a regular basis, and I express that to my audience, my workforce, on a regular basis. So I guess in that way, even though it's not a priority, the fact that it isn't a priority is a priority, and I express that often to my key officers, i.e. my mods. So let's see. DEI progress is discussed by key officers units in a regularly occurring DEI meetings where representative participants are purposefully selected and a formal system is in place to disseminate and engage employees in okay, maybe not quite that formal. Let's see. DEI progress is discussed by key officers/units as a regular agenda item for regularly occurring meetings organized for another purpose. You could call TED Excellence kind of that. So sure, I'll take a little higher end from the middle on that one. Number 7, which of the following best describes how your leadership responds to unexpected events or feedback suggesting the institution needs to improve its DEI efforts? So how does my leadership respond to criticism that we're not being DEI enough? If you struggle to recall a specific instance, make your best guess as to how they would respond. How would you guys respond to being told that you need to improve on your DEI efforts? Unexpected events or feedback are ignored. No response is provided. A delayed response is provided only after leadership is forced to provide one to avoid negative repercussions. The response is intended only to mitigate damage to the institution's reputation. A response is provided that acknowledges the institution's responsibility in the event. I'm not quite sure how to mark this one. I mean, if my channel was charged with not following DEI efforts, my response would be, thanks. Well, I mean, I want to be diplomatic. So a response is provided that is intended to mitigate damage and to convey minimal action the institution will take to avoid future events or feedback. I mean, I guess... Okay, maybe I'd say something. Maybe I'd respond back with something polite. If somebody was being like super critical or something, like you're being this, that, or the other, I'd respond. But I might not respond as an acknowledgement. I might respond as a response, like an actual, counterpoint. But anyway, okay, next. Factor 2, investment. How are DEI programs and services on your campus managed? I have no DEI programs or services. That was easy. Which best describes the priority of DEI programs and services in your institution's overall budget? I have no DEI programs or services, and I'm not shelling out for them. So That's easy. Number 10, considering all DEI resources or services available on your campus, which statement best describes the quality of these resources? Well, I mean, resources as far as education? I think in education, well, no, resources or services. Okay, yeah. No, yeah. I think the resources I provide as far as education and what DEI is are fairly good. Actually, you know what? I'll be conservative. I'll say they're of good quality and provide more than just basic services. I don't want to get too full of a head here. Let's keep going. Factor 3, equity and representation. Here we go. How does your institution assess equal pay for protected groups, including but not limited to women and people of color, among both staff and faculty? Well, I don't assess pay for protected groups in our staff and faculty. So there you go. Unless we're talking about unless pay can be interpreted as, who I decide to give a wrench to, because that's more of like tenure and merit and so on than it is. But, yeah, okay. Well, how does your institution assess equitable representation of protected groups among both staff and faculty? Our institution does not assess representation for protected groups in our staff and faculty. That is true. I don't. So there you go. 13, which statement best describes your institution's plan to assess and improve its DEI goals, initiatives, and or efforts? Well, I don't have any DEI goals. So, I mean, this is both easy and tough at the same time. I mean, I want to participate. I want to be proactive in everything, but I have to be honest. I don't have any DEI goals. So, yeah, I guess nothing. 14, does your assessment of DEI goals at your institution recognize the complexity of diversity present on your campus? Well, I mean, in the sense of DEI goals as in countering the entire institution by looking at my campus and seeing that we're all diverse already. Let's see. What are my options? At the end, there is no assessment of DEI goals. Okay. And at the top, there are measures are based on both numeric and qualitative, outcomes, consider many aspects of diversity and incorporate feedback from the campus community. Well, I mean, like I did at the beginning, how I assess the diversity of my workforce. I mean, I've got flag people, I've got dog people, I've got whatever Peter is, I've got geometric people, I've got brand logo people like Advocatus, I've got, fading TV star, movie actor, Rib Rascal type. I mean, I got all types of people. So I measure my diversity both on numeric. I mean, I have a number of subscribers, and qualitative out. Yeah. And there's plenty of feedback from the campus and community. You know what? I'm circling top. Yeah, I really do. 15, how well are diverse individuals represented in cross-department bodies on campus, such as committees, the president's cabinet, and leadership roles? Well, on the Discord server, my mods are, let's see, I know I have at least 2 women mods, and I have 1 male mod. And then Dogcat Fox kind of runs the roost. Actually, it's pretty diverse. But let's see. What's the diversity is not measured or is unknown. Well, I mean, I know my workforce is diverse. It's just a matter of course. Okay, so I can't mark that one. And at the highest end, my institution has formal policies / practices in place, and we have sufficient diversity to promote DEI on committees, in leadership roles, and in the makeup of the president's cabinet senior leadership. Sure. I mean, there's so many different kinds of people in positions of authority in my business, my channel, my Discord. Right? Yeah. 16, how well are diverse individuals represented across your workforce? Well, every individual is diverse. So our campus is representative at all levels. There is no question that our campus is diverse, with women, minorities, and other protected groups well represented among leadership, faculty, and staff. That's true. Because everybody is diverse. And I have mods. I have either in the chat or in the Discord of varying types and experiences and things. And even if they were all the same gender, they'd be different people. So yeah, that's fine. Factor 4, recruitment and retention. This is going to be rough because how do I recruit? How is DEI incorporated into your institution's hiring processes? Oh, not at all. The answer is 0. 18, to what extent does your institution incorporate best practices in the creation of job descriptions to ensure a greater likelihood of a diverse candidate pool? Best practices include the following: specifying a pay range, for the position. That seems like boilerplate. Limiting required skills to those that are must-haves. Also seems like boilerplate. Specifying the extent to which experience can substitute for education. Again, boilerplate. I'm not reading anything that's different from any other job description I've ever looked at before. Avoiding biased, e.g. gendered language and jargon that could alienate protected groups. Well, I tell you, if you get scared at the wrong pronoun, maybe I don't want to hire you. Highlighting institutions' commitment to DEI. Okay, well, I've never seen that, but again, I haven't looked for a job in 18 years. Noting benefits, policies, or practices in place that contribute to a flexible work environment, e.g. childcare, flexible work schedules, remote work opportunities. And as far as my business is concerned, everybody can work remotely. You can be a mod and be anywhere in the world, and they are. So that's a plus, I guess. We have a communal place for discussion and debate on the Discord. So that's a benefit, I suppose. I haven't done memberships yet. I haven't done channel memberships yet. I did a poll on that recently to see if people wanted or were interested in having channel memberships. I'm still debating that. I'm trying to think of, okay, well, if I'm going to do that, I have to have something that is member exclusive that makes it worthwhile for members to want to be members. At the same time, I also feel like that's also, well, obviously very exclusionary, because then I'm leaving people out who might want to be in. And how much do memberships mean to me? I don't know yet. I haven't figured that out. Anyway, for the most part, we do not consider DEI best practices when creating jobs. That's true. A long story short, we don't use that. Okay. Number 19, how does your institution gather and use applicant pool data on DEI when recruiting both staff and faculty? I don't. There you go. Number 20, does your institution set goals and evaluate data at different career stages for retaining or promoting diverse hires? So you're asking if I use some kind of, quota to measure how many of people of a particular race and or gender I have? I don't. So DEI is not considered in retention or promotions. 21, to what extent does your institution incorporate best DEI practices into retention and promotion processes? Okay, best practices include the following. Oh, this would be good. Conducting and assessing stay interviews on a regular basis. Why do you want to stay here? Conducting and assessing exit interviews on a regular basis. Assessments of workforce satisfaction, engagement, and climate. I'm still waiting to hear the DEI part. Ensuring service work is appropriately credited in the promotions of both faculty and staff. Okay. Putting benefits, policies, or practices in place that contribute to a flexible work environment whenever possible, e.g. childcare, flexible work schedules, remote work opportunities. Training of supervisors and department heads on promotion and performance review practices that are discriminatory and undermine DEI efforts. Discriminatory in what way? There's the correct discrimination, of course, an incorrect discrimination. Yeah. And lastly, establishment of objective and transparent promotion criteria for all staff and faculty positions where promotion is possible. Yeah, transparent promotion criteria. Does that include someone's diversity? Let's see. For the most part, we do not consider DEI best practices in our retention and promotion processes. That is true. Okay. Next. Institution and participant information. Here we go. Let's see. Select your institution by typing part of its name and choosing from the drop-down list below. What? What happens if I put in... What if I have an institution that is not here? Okay. Let's find out. My full name, my title, Lord of Punishment. Okay, let's see what happens next, guys. Here we go. Uh-oh, there was an error. I have to pick a particular thing. Question 22. Did I not answer question 22? Okay. Well, what's the closest that comes to my name? Sorry. Scripps College. Sure. You have now completed the DEI Maturity Index. The next page will display your score. Oh boy! Please make sure to download your results as they will not be available after you leave the next page. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Okay, so the Scribe Light channel and all of you as my workforce, my audience, and answering the questions as honestly and or as humorously as I possibly could. Here we go. We rate 1 point. Okay. Download the PDF. You bet your bippy I'm downloading the PDF for posterity's sake. All right. Scripps College. Sorry, Scribe Light channel. Here's our DEI, scope of DEI efforts. Investment, recruitment and retention, equity and representation. Okay, so equity and representation, we do really good, relatively. Next, it's scope of DEI efforts. Then it's investment, which is, yeah. And then recruitment and retention. How to interpret your scores. Okay. 0, DEI efforts are non-existent. 1, DEI efforts are minimal. Much progress needs to be made, everybody. Oh, man. We're just on the edge of 2. Recommendations. Oh, here we go. Okay. Your score on this factor could use some improvement. To increase your score, implement the following where you notice gaps. And we're all about gaps thanks to the bridge process. Develop a plan to regularly communicate the value of DEI to your institution's educational mission to all stakeholders. Ensure that both your mission statement and strategic priorities convey DEI as a top priority with your DEI action plan communicated. Ensure your institution's policies and procedures use inclusive language throughout, with a formal plan to review and update this language regularly according to best practices. Provide campus leaders with the training, motivation, and resources they need to be viewed as DEI champions. Oh boy, everybody. Get ready for the gladiatorial combat. You're going to be champions. Ensure that your institution is recognized as being committed to DEI through policies and practice, communications, and celebrations of DEI success. We have to celebrate, everybody. Oh, boy. Ensure that DEI priorities and progress are communicated to and discussed by key officers and units across campus. All right, everybody. You need to discuss DEI more than you are now. You really need to. Okay? It's very... very important. Develop a plan for top leaders to respond to unexpected events and feedback that takes responsibility and outlines how the institution will respond and improve its efforts. Okay, top leaders. Okay, so all the mods in the chat, I really want you to internalize and reflect on how you're going to respond to events and feedback of one form or another. Investment. Your score on this factor could use some improvement, but I'm a 1. I'm number 1, right? Okay, to increase your score, implement the following where you notice gaps. Ensure that your institution has 1 or more chief diversity officers or similar, and that DEI programs and services have dedicated staff appropriate to your institution's size. Boy, oh boy. Should I create a level of membership on the Discord called Chief Diversity Officer? I don't know, who should be the Chief Diversity Officer of the Scribe Light channel? I feel like it should be Dogcat Fox, but I don't know. Ensure that DEI programs and services are a high priority for funding and do not receive disproportionate cuts during times of budget crisis. Yeah, well, that seems to be the advice of most major corporations in the last 2 years. Ensure your DEI resources are of outstanding quality, are extensive, and are visible across the institution. All right. And here's where we shined, guys. Here's where we shined. Equity and representation. Your score on this factor could use some improvement. Well, but I got a 3. It's better than a 1. To increase your score, implement the following where you notice gaps. Develop a plan that uses both internal and comparative data to regularly set goals and assess outcomes regarding pay equity. Okay. Develop a plan that uses both internal and comparative data to regularly set goals and assess outcomes regarding the representation of protected groups. Everybody's welcome, right? Everybody's welcome to my channel. I don't discriminate. The only thing I discriminate against in my channel is if you're being either a bot or you're being mean to people. You know, if you're being a jerk, then you're probably not going to be very well liked and welcomed. If you're a bot, I have an army of mods to deal with such things. Outside of that, I take on everybody. And I mean that in the most platonic sense. Ensure that assessments of DEI initiatives are both quantitative and qualitative. Are you sure about that qualitative part? That they consider many aspects of diversity and that they incorporate feedback from the campus community. Ensure that diverse individuals are represented in committees. Diverse individuals are represented. The president's cabinet, okay, and leadership roles, and that the same individuals are not asked repeatedly to represent. Oh, okay. Well, what if I only have one person that represents a protected group? They can't. Okay, that's confusing. Ensure that diverse individuals are represented across the entire workforce and not primarily in the lowest paying positions on campus. Oh, so I need to promote people to positions of better pay on the basis of who they represent. Oh, okay. All right. And lastly, recruitment and retention. We scored 1, guys. Oh, no. Your score in this factor could use some improvement. To increase your score, implement the following where you notice gaps. And it all goes to the same stuff, and I'm getting tired of talking about this. What's next? If you'd like to provide us with any feedback on the survey, please enter it below. Well, that's fine. That's fine. I don't need to do that anymore. So there you go, everybody. That is the Inclusion Maturity Index, at least one version of it. We listened to 4 videos, I believe, educating us on what it is or what it's supposed to do, which were not very successful in that task, I think. And we just took a version of a maturity index quiz to see what exactly is being asked of us if we were an organization and how we would rate on the index. And just to bring it all back home again, this, in so many ways, is what the Bridge organization uses to tell its clients whether or not it's succeeding in its DEI efforts. And again, prior to the Bridge presentation, I had never heard of the Inclusion Maturity Index before. So it's not a new idea, but it may be a newly found idea that is gaining some steam in the DEI space. So as we approach other DEI subjects in the future, and or as you encounter them on your own time, be on the lookout for an Inclusion Maturity Index. This might be the newest old idea that is starting to guide the entire DEI apparatus. I'll begin to wrap things up here, but first I'll take any other comments you guys have. Let's see. Bold sign feels like one of those BS sites on Grand Theft Auto making fun of our clown world. Does a little bit, doesn't it? Just a bit. Matthew James, surprised they didn't want credit card information. I was surprised. I thought that they were going to start asking me for, like, to see your results, just sign up for our, monthly subscription, et cetera, and so forth. But thankfully, this one was free. I just had to give a fake organization I was applied to. Like, okay, so Scripps. Why not? Matthew James also says, enjoy your loop. I will. I always enjoy spending time with my sister, which is strange from the stories I hear from other people and their siblings. And I feel bad for people that don't have a good relationship with their siblings. It's kind of sad. I'm very fortunate that my sister and I get along very well. And we're basically best friends, basically. Yeah, there's occasionally a little contention, but, basically. Sash of the Gray, Scribelight, remember, diversity and inclusion means no white people allowed. Well, at least devalued according to this maturity index. It's not a mature thing to let white people do stuff. Advocates Diablo, and here I was hoping this channel would be INTJ. Oops, wrong internet test. Yeah. Imagine if I gave the Scribelight channel one of those, intelligence tests. Oh gosh. I might do that as an extra someday, just for the fun of it. Anything else? Peter, everyone is diverse. Peter has it right. My channel is the most diverse channel on YouTube because everybody's different. There you go. You're all different. And I like y'all for different reasons. Yvonne Solomon, we do have pay equity. We're all not getting paid equally. Yeah, it is true. It is true. Being a mod on my channel is a voluntary position. It's true. It's true. I don't have any particular way to compensate other than my thanks and hopefully something like education or entertainment. So there you go. There's that. And anything else? Tyr Alexander is a highly sophisticated robot. You know, I could believe it. And if so, you would just simply add to the diversity. If I've got androids or cyborgs on here, how cool is that? How cool is that? Let's see. And Tony Giff, if we are the workforce, then we should have a high in DEI score since we talk DEI all the time here. Well, it's about discussing DEI versus implementing DEI in policies and practice. That's really where the rubber meets the road. And we don't really do that here. On an educational basis, we score top. And I did select that one when they talked about educating the workforce and everything else. So I think on that one, I'm doing okay. But actually practicing DEI, not so much. And the last word will come from Peter. Remember, business is hard. Hire the best people you can find without regard for superficial traits like race, because the wolf is always at the door. Yes, and the wolf should be the EEOC. But the wolf these days seems to be little else than a cute puppy when it comes to enforcing constitutional and civil rights laws. But I might be a bit harsh. I'm sure there are some very hardworking people at the EEOC that would love to do more, but are underfunded and understaffed. But the times, they are changing. So keep your eyes and ears open on the DEI front for the Inclusion Maturity Index. Bridge really, really, really wants it to become a legitimate measuring tool for all of its clients and into the future. So if you hear about it, let me know in the comments or on the Discord. Would you like to join the Discord? If you're not already a member of the Discord, you too can join the Discord and become a Lunarian on the Moonbase. Link to the Discord is in the chat now. Click on that. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you actually watch the show, are not a bot, even though I appreciate bots on a diversity basis. And you have earned the right, the entitlement, the privilege to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is Miranda Stone. Just say, hello, Miranda Stone, and you'll be able to join the Discord server. I am totally not trying to embarrass Miranda Stone, whether she's listening now or in the future. And if she's not listening now, she'll be very much confused when people start saying her name in the Discord, just out of the blue. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this. If I didn't get to your comment, please leave it below after the show is posted. As a shout out, if you like true crime, check out the True Crime Atlas on YouTube. True Crime Atlas just put up a new video today, and I very much appreciate his work. And he puts out good content. Also, there's a little news channel I've come to have a bit of an appreciation for. It's called Agenda Free TV. It's headed by a guy named Steve Lookner, and he'll occasionally break in with live streams covering current events and happening things right now, sometimes things that are not being covered to the same extent on mainstream media, and he has connections to sources all over the place to give updates that usually come through far earlier than some of the major news sources. So sometimes when something's happening, I'll go over to Agenda Free TV and take a look at what he has to say and what he's got going on. So there's that. There's my shout outs for the day. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved and so diverse. You have very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or to the GoFundMe's pinned to the top of the chat box, thank you guys so much for your generosity. Really do appreciate it. Hope everybody has a good rest of your Wednesday. Hope you're all safe and well. Hope to see you tomorrow, Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for TED Excellence, where I'll take a look at another off-brand TED Talk. Again, I'm debating between the music of plants and coming to terms with differing opinions. Which will have more entertainment and educational value, do you think? Well, let me know on the Discord. I haven't decided yet, but soon. And otherwise, everybody, hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday. Hope you're all safe and well. If you are not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.